Hi, welcome to Resume Writing 101. This presentation will be a brief overview on how to write a professional entry-level resume. Let's begin with just a few basics to get you started. For your font style choice, you don't want to use anything fancy, just a standard business font, something you might find in a textbook. You also will want to keep the sizing of everything at about 10 to 12. Your name can be about 4 font sizes bigger than the rest of the text, but you don't want anything to be less than 10 and too small to read, or more than 12 and take up too much space. For colors, stick with a basic black. You want your resume to be unique based on the content, and you don't want different colors or fancy font styles to distract from your skills and qualifications. You'll also want to avoid using any online templates. They can create issues with content not fitting correctly and can be difficult to edit and make changes to. In addition, employers typically do not like them. Start with a basic Word document or use one of the online samples that our office provides. Along with this, you'll want to keep your resume organized. You can do this by making sure that all of the text and bullet points are aligned, and by using consistent spacing between sections throughout your resume. Lastly, make sure to avoid personal pronouns such as I, we, and me. The very first thing you'll want on your resume is your full name and contact information. Write your name in all caps and make sure it's the biggest text on the page. Below that, you can have your email, phone number, and a link to your LinkedIn profile and the city and state you live in if you choose. For your phone number, make sure your voicemail is set up and that the message is simple and professional. You'll also want to make sure to choose an email that you check frequently and that has a professional sounding address. I suggest using something such as your name or your name and a number. Lastly, for your LinkedIn, you can include the image and hyperlink like in the example in this slide, or just include the link to your profile. Make sure your LinkedIn is updated with your education, experience, and qualifications. The next section you should have on your resume is a summary of qualifications. This section is useful because unlike an objective that tells the company what you are looking for, the summary of qualifications tells them why you are qualified for what you are applying for. You may start with a bold skill and include a short description for each one, or you may simply type out the description with the bullet in front of it, without the bold word. The bold starter word is useful when you are trying to emphasize key sets of skills to your prospective employer. Make sure to choose your most relevant qualifications for the position. After this should be your education section. Start out with your full degree in bold. Make sure to double check whether it is a Bachelor of Arts or a Bachelor of Science. This information can be found on the university's website. On the same line as your degree, but off to the right, you will want to have your graduation or expected graduation month and year. On the next line, list the university and city and state. If your GPA is above a 3.0 or 4.0, you can also list that off to the right in line with where you listed your graduation date. If you have a minor along with your major, list that on its own line below the university. Something you can add in your education section would be relevant coursework. This would be about 4 to 8 bullet points of course titles that are relevant to the position you are applying for. This is especially useful if you are applying for a position for which you do not have relevant prior work experience. The next section should be your experience. You'll want to list your job title first in bold and the company and location beneath that. On the same line as your title, but off to the right side, you can list the month and year you started, a dash, and then the month and year you stopped. If it is a present position, just say present in place of the month and year you stopped. Also make sure that these dates are in line with where you have your graduation and GPA above in the education section. Your jobs should be listed in reversed chronological order. For your bullet points, start each one with an action verb. If it is a job you currently are at, start each one with a present tense action verb, and if it's a past position, start each bullet point with a past tense action verb. Some things you'll want to include in your bullet points are quantification and transferable skills. So if you worked on projects with the team, say you worked on a team of 3 to 6 people to complete tasks or include things you did daily, weekly, or monthly. You'll also want to make sure you include skills you learned that can be used in other positions, such as presentation experience or customer service. Bullet text should always be descriptive writing. Avoid writing general or vague statements which do not paint a clear picture. After your education section, you can include a variety of sections to showcase your skills and experience. Some common ones are activities and volunteer experience, honors and awards, and language and computer skills. For any activities or volunteer experience you have, make sure to list your role. So whether you were a member or president of a club, a member of or captain of your athletic team, or a volunteer coach or volunteer mentor, make sure to list your title. In your honors section, make sure to list the dates of any scholarships and awards. With the exemption of technology-related majors, when listing your computer skills, start each bullet point with whether you are proficient in or familiar with the program you are listing. For language fluency, indicate if you are fluent or semi-fluent. Here are just a few more tips to consider for your resume. The first and most important is to always have your resume proofread. Read through it yourself to check for the accuracy of information such as dates, locations, and your contact information, and then pass it on for others to review for content and formatting. You can even have someone in the Career Services office review your resume by utilizing your account on Flyers Get Hired. All current students and alumni can use the link on this slide and submit their resume to be reviewed online. On average, an employer will only spend 7 seconds reading a resume, so you want to make sure that your most important information is at the top. Most undergraduate resumes will be 1 page. However, we have a number of field-based majors which will use a 2-page resume. A resume will never exceed 2 pages. Always update your resume frequently. You learn new skills in classes, join new clubs, and receive new responsibilities at work that you don't want to forget about. So at least every few months, review it to ensure you're not missing anything relevant. If you have any questions about your resume or career management, you can reach Career Services at 815-836-5282 or send us an email at careerservices@louisu.edu.